Hi friends, it's Gloria from Golden Bucket Farm. I'm the Jersey Lady 1 here on YouTube, and I'm back again this morning with my promised how-to video to make these, what I call grungelicious, vintage looking playing cards. And I mentioned before that, let's see, I gotta get my right little paper here. Oh, crumb. Okay, it's my inspiration was from Natasha on Treasure Books, and it's her video on how to make simple vintage looking cards, and I will put a link in my description box on how she does it. I changed it up just a little bit, and I think, you know, this would be just a minor alternative way to go about it. Okay, I showed the other day too these cards that I've made using that technique in the background. Okay, you can still see the card face and some of the printing from the paper that we'll be using. And yeah, they're just, what did I say? They were moody and dusky. So if you're looking for something like that, or even if you don't want to use it as a background, but just use undecorated the cards in your work somehow, okay? In your mixed media projects, or in you know, like a vintage journal. You could use this as a tag, put some plain paper on the back for journaling, punch a little hole and put some sort of a little handle on the top, a ribbon, or one of those little punched out deals that you put there. Yeah, they're just neat. Even in your home decor, you know, to do a deck of these really beat up, grungy looking cards. I think they're just cool. Okay, so here's what you do. You trot yourself over to your card table if you have already have some cards. If you don't, you know, go buy yourself a deck of playing cards. It can be old or new, doesn't make any difference. Probably the old ones will be already have some age looking to them. I buy this style 2 for $1 at the Dollar Tree. So you know, an inexpensive project all the way around. All right, what you need to do is take some glue, and you're going to put glue on your card, and you say, don't you have to sand it first? No. Don't you have to gesso it? No, you do not. Natasha doesn't, and other people that I've seen have used this too. No, you don't need to do that. You're going to put your glue on your card, and I like to do it along the edges, and then mostly in one corner, or mostly to one side. If you put it just in the middle, and Natasha talks about that, if you put it just in the middle, then the really vintagey part might get covered up if you're going to you know, use this in another project to decorate it. And also, if you want it to look really antique, you would want the darkness to be where the wear would be, which tends to be around the edges rather in the middle. But it's up to you, however you want to do that. So you put your glue, and I've done it with a glue stick. You could try out and see what other kind of glues work, but this is an old stick of Elmer's Craft Bond extra strength glue stick, but use what you have. Then you take that and lay it down on a book page or I guess you could use newspaper, a dictionary page, whatever, whatever you have, okay? And let that dry. So, I've done them both sides. This one I did the back of the card, and this one I did, the other ones, that one I did purely by mistake, but it turned out really neat because the pattern I thought it looked nice with the plaid and the castle thing that I was doing. This one, is the face of the card where you can see the numbers. Okay, so you put your card down and let that dry so that it's on there really securely, and how long, that depends on your, whatever kind of glue you use. You'll want it stuck on there really well, so, I'd give it a little more time than a little less time. Okay, once the card is securely glued with some places that are not, I guess, yeah, you want to leave some places that are not glued. You don't want the whole card glued down, because otherwise you will lose the pattern, unless that's what you want, and then you might as well just use a piece of cardstock or something, because you want this, if you're making antique looking playing cards, you want the playing part to be recognizable, right? So, okay, you got your card glued to your paper, and when it's dry, then you just start, and it's really fun because everyone turns out a little differently. You tear off the paper, and of course it will come off easily from places where there was no glue, but it sticks, where you had the glue. So like here, you can clearly see I had it around the edge and kind of on a slanty line here, and that's how it came out. And you can decide, like on this one, I guess the writing on the paper went this way, so it was a long ways. This one was too, but this one I put it on, cattywampus sideways, and so you can just depend, and play around how you wanna put your card down on the paper, and that gives you, whatever look you want. I would kind of scan over what you're putting down, even in the dictionary. Sometimes you might come up with something and go, whoopsie, I don't know if I want that, showing, because sometimes, like on this one, the words didn't show as clearly. But on this one, I can read here, it's talking about gallantry, okay, which is a nice, that's a nice sentiment to have on a piece of ephemera, but you don't want offensive ephemera, I guess, unless that's your thing. I don't know, not mine. Yeah, so you just tear that off, and then you can proceed to the next and last step, or you can do what Natasha did and I did, was to ink. Ink my edges and go over my paper a little bit wherever I wanted it to look a little grungier. Okay. Now, when you have that done, only one step to go. So this is really quick and easy. You can turn out a deck in not very long time at all. Natasha put a used, dry, of course, tea bag paper over her card. Okay, and I had some tea bags laid out to dry to do that with, and bless his heart, he himself, that's what I call my hubby, he himself pitched those, and I said, where's my tea bags? Oh, I'm sorry, I threw those away, and I couldn't, the trash was gone then. So anyway, I fell back on my favorite right now, which is tissue from sewing patterns. And as I've said, one pattern will give you lots. Granted, this pattern had a lot of different looks, but this is back from the 80s something. What does it say? I don't know. When did they have the big hair? When my kids were in high school. Well, mine are guys, but anyway. Anyway, an old pattern will give you tons and tons of tissue, but you could use try and see what you have. Maybe you have some, like a pizza place we go to, they always send along tan napkins, but whatever you want it, so that you're gonna, when you get the glue on, you're gonna be able to see through it, okay? Because you really want that a little bit vaguey, a little bit misty, but I don't think want the look where people wonder what is that? I can't quite see through there. So this sewing pattern tissue is a perfect thing, and you don't have to dye it. It's already tan. So then you take, I guess I better put my lid on here. Take some glue, and Natasha and I kind of have a difference here. This is where it kind of went off the path, Natasha's path, where she used the tea bags and I used the tissue. But she puts 1 part water to 3, I think it's 3 parts glue. And mine is half and half more, and turns out just great as far as I'm concerned. So you take, once you have your card and you have torn off all the bits that you can, and inked it if you want, then you just take your watered down glue to whatever proportion you want to try, and just cover the whole thing with your watered down glue. Plop your piece of tissue on top, and I used on this one, I used some of my tissue paper that I had stamped on to make, like, printed, you can buy the name brand printed tissue paper, but you can take the tissue paper out of a gift that you get, or use deli wrap, and stamp on that. You can make all you want for just pennies. So on this one I used that, and on these others I just used the plain parts of the tissue. Plunk it down in, and again, then go over the top. You want to be careful, but even if you tore it, you can put the edges together again, or even put a little patch on there but I didn't have that problem. And with the tea bags, you definitely wouldn't have a problem, because they're really, they're strong enough to go dunking and squeezing and like that. And that's probably one of the advantages of using tea bag paper, whether it's the individual size or like a family size one when you make sun tea or whatever. Those bigger packs is what we make at our house. But anyway, just go over again, and when I do that, I lay it down on a paper so that I can be sure that, or I guess you could be on, your silicone mat or whatever, to be sure that you really get those edges down, and you want no wrinkles are okay. There is a little one here, but you don't want bubble ups. You know, you want to get that part taken care of. Basically the tissue just sinks into the glue, and you just want to smooth it out. If you have to pull up a corner and kind of reposition it a little bit, but you want those edges really good because you don't want those to be coming up. And when it's dry, there you are. You know, you can cut around the edge and around your corners. If you want to put a backing sheet on so that, you know, you can use it as a gift tag or a ATC or a pocket letter card or something. Otherwise, you can leave it. Gosh, do I have one here that has just the... Yeah, these have just the plain card on the back. Yeah, just fun. Easy peasy, and such a great look, and everyone is a little surprised. You know, you just never know for sure how they're going to turn out, and what a difference from something so slick and shiny to this, as I say, grungelicious vintage look playing cards for your decor or for your projects. Okay, be sure to look for Natasha's link to treasure books, and she has lots of other good stuff on there too. But I'll put a link to that, and happy crafting. I just hope that you have as good a luck and as much fun on this project as I did. Take care. Love you all. See you soon. Gloria.